it already takes 45 minutes to read. Ha ha ha ha ha ha ha. Now some friends are saying, are you advertising your book or what? What's the point? Why are you trolling Şeyma Subaşı? Why are you reading Şeyma Subaşı's book? They say this, they say that. There are actually a few reasons for this. One, I'm bored. Haha. Two, who cares? Haha. Three, we are dealing with a book that is claimed to have sold 40,000 copies. 40,000. Well, it's hard to even call it a book. It's like we're talking about a long interview that has been somewhat inflated and turned into a book, as we say in journalistic terms. Did I say 3 or 4? Anyway, 5. Now, there is a phenomenon called Şeyma Subaşı. Well, you may like her or not, but it's certain that she is a phenomenon. How is she a phenomenon? Now, you look at Instagram, and more than 3 million people follow her. She had a previous relationship and marriage with Akun, one of the most well-known people in Turkey. They still have a child together. Well, she likes to show her private life. By private life, I mean her lifestyle, travels, and home life. Well, for example, the other day she was sharing photos and videos from the bedroom while making her child's breakfast. So she doesn't see any harm in this and creates an economy from it, which I will convey to you shortly from what she has written. She has turned into an influencer, creating an economy, let's say through advertising activities, even if not in various commercials. For example, Kim Kardashian in America might have achieved worldwide fame by doing similar things. But on the other hand, she has also ventured into the business world. We are talking about a woman who has become the owner of a cafe in Beybek, one of the most interesting and fashionable places in Turkey, and who lives her life freely. And this woman is considered a role model by many people, especially young people, according to her own words. In other words, in 2019's Turkey, we are talking about a woman who is the most followed on social media, on Instagram, who earns money from various advertisements related to this, runs a cafe, and is a role model that young people aspire to be. And sixthly, it is claimed that this book has sold 40,000 copies. I don't quite understand whether it would sell 40,000 or not, but they mentioned one print run. Normally, a print run is 2,000 to 3,000, but sometimes they come out with 100,000 print runs. In this case, in this book sold for 23.99 lira, Şeyma Subaşı has told her own story. I think she must be 28 years old, as far as I understand. Now, believe me, my intention with this book is not to belittle, demean, or, make fun of it. Okay, maybe a little to make fun, but not the other two. After all, she is a person who has become a phenomenon in Turkey. She writes a book, she puts herself out there, she puts everything out there. Well, excuse me, but let us speak too. I mean, no one has the right to say you can't speak. On the contrary, as far as I understand, Şeyma sees being talked about as an advertisement. And in this book, she tells her own story. I mean, she tries to explain to young people who want to take her as an example. Sometimes I laugh, excuse me, how to be like Şeyma Subaşı. Well, everything is in the book. When I say everything, I mean childhood, youth, a bit of marriage, and so on. Then, she has touched upon many topics on how to become Şeyma Subaşı. She has given recipes for food, makeup tips. She has provided guidance on how to find happiness in life and how not to be unhappy. Well, she has shared, making quotes and mentioning various wise sayings. She talked a bit about her work life and included some of her personal life diaries. I think it was 168 pages. Well, yes, let's say 169 pages. Well, yesterday I read a part of it to you. I had started reading. Of course, as I read, I saw that Şeyma Subaşı comes from a modest family. I think her father works as an inspector or in accounting. As far as I understand, her mother is a housewife. And it starts with a section called My Dream of America. This part is nice. She says, to go to a place I know and don't know all by myself. Period. Of course, she didn't write this book herself. She narrated, and 3 editors wrote it. Not 1, not 2, but 3. Normally, 1 editor looks after a book. Let me put it that way for those who don't know. Years later, I boarded many ships. Ships that go to many places around the world, no less. Period. Period. Period. But never alone. Period. Period. Period. Strange. Period. Period. Period. Isn't it? No, it's not. Why wouldn't you board alone? Everyone has to board with someone. If there were kids, you'd say, wait, is there a parent or something? Let them board with someone. So it didn't seem very strange to me. And I also remember that back then I watched a lot of movies and read a lot of books, perhaps because they enriched my sense of wanting to go and my dream of seeing new places. Didn't it seem convincing? Yes, it did. Why wouldn't it seem convincing, you ask? Of course, if you're a reader, you might have watched films, you can read books. Why? He asks. If I didn't dream so much, didn't read, didn't watch, and didn't want, do you think I could have these? He asks. When he says these, the editors have skimmed over this part a bit quickly. It's worth elaborating when you look at it. I took notes, you see, I marked quite a lot and so on. For example, at one point it says, Akun's name is never mentioned, for instance. Why? When it could be mentioned. I mean, a name known in Turkey. I mean, Akun is a name that is loved and embraced. In fact, we could say that the person who is partly or largely responsible for Şeyma's fame, or to whom she owes a big part of it. But from time to time, there are slight jabs in the book. By the way, I'm giving a spoiler. I know some of you will belittle it now and won't read it. Here you go. This is public service. This is journalism. He says, I don't know if I'm making myself clear. And thinking about this, I never became deeply attached to anyone with great love or admiration. Excuse me. Where is the grand wedding in Cannes? Going there by helicopters and such. Well, my favorite part was the quotes. I don't know who these quotes belong to. If they belong to Şeyma Subaşı, we could hang some of them on the wall. For example, now, there are some pages with quotes like this. Huge quotes. I mean, look at them like this. Some of the pages are quotes. It's not clear who they are from. Oh, this one is from Mother Teresa. They've written it underneath. But for example, I really like this one. You can't make everyone happy because you're not pizza. What is this? Şeyma? What is this, for God's sake? Come on, don't you say editors are writing friends. Once, just once, I am a person who eats healthily. Where did this pizza issue come from? Well, now we haven't hung it on the wall. Write it under a saying, man, you can't make everyone happy because you're not a pizza. Şeyma Subaşı. Where are you going to hang the pizzeria? Oh my God. I've marked another quote. If you really want to say yes, never say no. Man. Okay, I got that one too. There's an issue. Şeyma gets too caught up in gossip. Don't worry, Şeyma, no matter what anyone says for love. It's kind of like that. She seems constantly fed up with gossip. And there was an incident of being kicked out of a store. What is that? A very traumatic event. She goes over this incident 2 or 3 times. I really don't know. I couldn't keep up. I don't follow Şeyma Subaşı news too much either. Occasionally I sneak a peek at social media, Instagram, because I get tired, you know. I personally get tired of watching someone who is constantly dancing, constantly partying, constantly on vacation. But 3 million people don't get tired. It's not too bad when you look once in a while. She already says, don't just look at the 3 million watching me. There's another 3 million watching secretly. But it's not a joke again. I mean, they've put up sayings like, one day, I'll even make an onion cry. What a waste of a page. What a shame. Is this really what you write on a page? One day I'll even make an onion cry. Şeyma Subaşı. I think, Şeyma, you should take a look at these 3 editors. They don't seem to have very good intentions. A slight argument. At some point, they might have thought, let's have a bit of fun with this. I mean, while putting such quotes here. Of course, there are many things, cliche things. You can't see the stars before darkness falls. Oh my God. Yes, I'm not going too much into it, of course. Like every mother, she talked about her relationship with her daughter. I don't really get into those at all. I mean, it's not much, but there were some points that caught my attention from a journalist's perspective. Nowadays, the only currency that matters is Instagram followers. And she said, if you evaluate it this way, I'm quite a famous, successful, and wealthy woman. I don't know, a rich woman. I don't know, but she defines herself that way. Again, in another place. I'm aware that I walk around like a goose that lays golden eggs. Excuse me. There were also those who pretended to be my friend, always giving me calculated advice, then spreading false rumors about me, deceiving me, and stealing my money. Man, what kind of friends have you found for yourself? There's always gossip, complaints about gossip. He's fed up and tired, but on the other hand, everything is out in the open. His entire life is out there, all the details. Every single detail is out there when you look at it. So how can there not be gossip with so much going on? I'm realizing these things now, because the shadow of a giant tree that was over me has lifted. Exactly. I think a stone has reached its place. Who is this giant tree, I wonder? I'm curious. I've become a person, recognized worldwide. I attend the events of the biggest fashion brands. Honestly, believe me, I follow the American press very closely, dear friends. But to say that I've heard much news about Şeyma would be a lie. I used to go on such promotional trips. Now they still go, and when journalists go, they take them along. Of course, you always write about the good things. Maybe I've mentioned this, but Atil Kutuoğlu will walk in New York for Fashion Week. We went there as a group of journalists. At that time, there was such a state initiative taking place. Was it İTKİB? It was something like that. We had just set foot there, and the show hadn't even started yet. Reports started appearing in the Turkish press saying, Atil Kutuoğlu rocked New York. Atil Kutuoğlu did this, Atil Kutuoğlu did that. Come on, man, the show hasn't even happened yet. Shouldn't there be a show first before he rocks it, right? I mean, if you're going to rock it, do it properly. Let him rock it at a show first. At that time, I wrote an article for Radical 2 about how Atil Kutuoğlu didn't rock New York. How should I know? He was the boss's fashion designer. The following week, there was a huge, page-long interview with Atil Kutuoğlu in Riyadh responding to me. Anyway, being famous worldwide is not such an important thing. It's not necessary either. You can also be the big fish in a small aquarium. Now, for example, they invite influencers to such things. Now they are inviting me too. Wouldn't it be strange if I said I'm famous worldwide? Such things may not mean much once you step outside of Edirne. They invite a lot of influencers. Oh, there are so many things. You know, it's not really due to any great success. You know, my views about YouTube, about how success comes on YouTube. So I won't repeat them here. I would appreciate it if those who know could tell those who don't. You know, let's not become material for gossip shows again. Ah, here we come to the trauma, man. The trauma is this kind of trauma. One day I was kicked out of a store, but you wouldn't believe how many homes I've been invited to years later. Which do you think is more important? What is this? This getting kicked out of the store. There was another one before I didn't mark it. Gets kicked out of the store, walks out with head held high. Then a couple of streets later, passes by places like this, crying and all. What store? What getting kicked out? Honestly, when you don't constantly follow this gossip, you end up like this. Like a Japanese tourist seeing Hagia Sophia for the first time. What's this? What's this? Let's film, let's film, let's film. We've come to the best parts. So, for example, it goes like this. Here comes self-confidence, love yourself, all these cliche things. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to write these now, but if Şeyma wrote them, what can we do? Since you're watching this while chatting with you, of course, more power to you. It's a trap. Things like this, you know. Cooking recipes, it's a trap. 2 rice wrappers, a tablespoon of hummus, cake la vista, baby. Gluten-free pasta and such, you know, healthy living. So, Şeyma is kind of everywhere, like I can be a chef there. I can be a life guru. I can be an influencer. Kind of like, what should I be? I can also be a businesswoman. There's everything. I mean, she seems to have reached a bit of everything as far as I can see. It's like she hasn't quite decided what to do. But of course, such interesting things. Nutty creme. Healthy smoothie. We've come to another saying. Trust those who speak with their hands. Look, believe me, these editors are messing with us. Either they're messing with us or with Şeyma. Dude, what is this? Now, what do you say after the recipe? What kind of context are you in? Oh my God. For example, she said my wardrobe. Now we're moving from recipes to my wardrobe. In my wardrobe, there's a blue high-waisted jeans, a black sweater, a white t-shirt. There's a bit of a fashion style icon as well. For example, what are the biggest fashion mistakes? You know, when you're famous, you know everything. Everything. Wait, let me tell you a wise saying. Let me enlighten your life. Didn't I just say this? You know everything. You're in control of everything. Wait, let me give you a gluten-free pasta recipe. Wait, let me tell you the mistakes you're making in fashion. Wait, let me tell you what to wear, what to eat. Let me tell you how to be happy. Dear Şeyma has listed 4 items. She said, 1. Never use many pieces from the same brand at once. 2. Please pay attention to the length of your pants. This might be the mistake I see the most. Pant length. Unlike women, men in our country dress disastrously, due to either overconfidence or indifference. I wonder who she's referring to. When I read this, a few people come to mind. Hey, while women are trying so hard to hide or eliminate their bellies, what are these tight fits that men are wearing for God's sake? 4. Nothing you wear or accessorize with should overshadow you. For example, there are my tips on skin and nutrition passing through there. As I say, there is expertise in everything. 1 page is enough, man. For example, I have a happiness menu. It says that in the morning, my favorite breakfast, avocado toast, or boiled egg with avocado, chili flakes, salt, olive oil, and lemon is amazing. You know, since I was a child, I haven't eaten anything without avocado. I told my dad when I was born, if there's no avocado, just consider me non-existent. He said, okay, son, it's developing and changing in the Çankırı region. In Çankırı, there's an avocado and also a kiwi. Dear Musa Kosun used to say, bring that kiwi. That has just arrived in Turkey. It's come from the Çankırı region. Bring it. Let's eat it, he would say on the 32nd day. Every morning it's avocado, my friends. What is this like laborers, cheese, bread, olives, tomatoes, menemen, and so on? Are you villagers or something? I don't understand. Every morning it's avocado. Or if not, avocado with boiled eggs. Or, you know, there are some days, man, it's not at the corner store. You went to the market, it's not at BIM. You go to Migros, it's not there. Where are you going to find macro all the time? Well, then there's no avocado. Fortunately, they've given an alternative then. Mix skim milk with coconut milk. Skim milk. Hold on a minute, man. Okay, let's say we found that. Coconut milk. Where are we going to find coconut milk? Plenty of muesli, too. In parentheses, here's the most delicious, refreshing breakfast for you. For lunch, a big salad with salmon or sea bass. At one point, we did a cooking show for CNN Turk. A very dear friend of mine did it. I won't mention their name now. One day during Ramadan, but that was about 15 years ago. That is 15 or 20 years ago. 16 or 17 years ago. Ferhat Boratov called me. He was probably the longest-serving editor-in-chief of CNN Turk at that time. Cüneyt, can we talk a bit about your program? He said. Of course, I said. I'm the producer after all. At some point, we look at it and say, okay, things are going well. It slipped past us. And Ferhat said, okay, we're not interfering with the content. You're making great dishes, but it would have been better if you hadn't given a pork rib recipe on the first day of Ramadan. I said, what are you talking about? It's like selling snails in a Muslim neighborhood, way beyond that. There was a lot of backlash. They complained to RT. I said, well, at least no one came to stone the channel. And he said, something caught my attention in the last program. He said, you did a segment on how to make use of leftover salmon in the fridge. I'm curious about this, he said. How did that salmon end up in the fridge? Why wasn't it eaten and left over? Now we're making use of it. He said, if we were Norwegian, I would understand. But in Turkey, brother, how much is the price of salmon per kilo? Try eating sea bass every day now. So, what do you say we'll eat for dinner? in the happiness menu? Well, probably sushi. All right, you eat rice. Rice with beans is Turkish sushi. Şeyda is happy like this, brother. This is the happiness menu. What can I do? This is my happiness menu, she said in parentheses. What should the girl do now? Oh my God. I just looked, I went in and checked something. Healthy? Is that what business is? There's a cafe. I looked at the menu to see how much it cost. Well, avocado toast is 35 lira. Well, the sea-based thing is 55 lira. So in total, you give about 200 bucks for a day's happiness menu. If you eat at Şeyda's cafe in Bebek, 200 times 10, 2,000. Multiply by 30, 200 times 30, 6,000 lira. So for 6,000 lira, don't be so stingy. Oh my God, take care of yourself a little, reward yourself a bit. If you're not going to be happy spending 6,000 lira, then what are you going to do in life? I'm telling you, believe me, Şeyma, you should redo these 3 editors. They've done subheadings. Hey, I'm aware that I'm too young for this title. We've reached the section of what I've learned from life. Just Şeyma. It's going to be explosive. Get ready. But after such heavy burdens, torments that would be hard even at 70, and meeting thousands of people, hundreds of journeys, I think I can share a few suggestions. The first suggestion is prayer, water, dance, and road. Wasn't it a direct copy from Cem Yılmaz? How was it? Fire, air, water, wood. It was prayer, water, dance, and road, man. Incorporate these into your life. That is, pray, dance, hit the road, and what will you do? And don't forget the water. You're already thirsty. I mean, maybe you don't have money for the others. You're not religious. Or you're shy to dance, but let's see you not drink water. I only have an income that everyone knows about right now. I'm not very forward-thinking in these matters. I mean, he was rich, man. I didn't understand. Does everyone know? Am I the one who doesn't know? Am I the only one who doesn't know Ms. Jada's income? What is the income? I checked. I mean, he was employing 18 waiters. There were 3 chefs, and there were 2 more people. How much does 20 make? He's employing about 24 people now in a cafe. I asked a friend. I said, does this cafe make money? He said, it depends on the rent, just barely. He said, maybe it makes a little money. There is an income, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. If you know, write it in the comments, friends. Yes. If someone else were in Şeyma's place, after being so well known in the world, we've come back to the same point again. She might not even care to greet us. The girl knows herself so well, she's so genuine. I've met so many famous people. I've never met anyone who can convey their sincerity as well as she does. A successful woman known to a friend said this: for the thing. After being so well known in the world, who is this woman really? It means she knows a world that we don't know. Women. I wish I could be a feminist, but I think a happy marriage involves boosting a man's ego. Parenthesis. My feminist sisters, please don't be mad at me. I love you. Close parenthesis. They think Şeyda is wrong. But it's not her fault. I got a bit off key though. It's not really like that, Şeyda. It's not absolutely necessary. There are healthier, different marriages too. If you're already setting up a marriage like this in your mind, just let it go. Yes, I mean, of course, there are more quotes, thoughts, and ideas to mention, but I don't want to overdo it and spoil your mood while reading just Şeyma Subaşı's book. As I said, we want to enjoy this summer a bit. We're making some light jokes. So we're also having a bit of fun with it. But if there's such a phenomenon, of course, we'll talk about it. I mean, we can't ignore it. It's already impossible for you to ignore it. Many things are shoved right in front of your eyes. You say, let me not follow Instagram. I'll read a book. Oops, the Şeyma book. You say, let me watch something better on TV. Oops, Şeyma is on the magazine show. You think, never mind, let me go to Ibiza to clear my head. And oops, Şeyma is dancing with us. Wherever you go, there's Şeyma. Let me go to Miami, she's there. Let me go to America, she's there. There must be a few Şeymas, I guess. We will continue to read such books. Well, we started with Şeyma Subaşı's work, which will enter among these unique world classics. I also told her, come, let's read this book together. There was no response. Then I said, while introducing the last book to Beno Gerede, come, let's read together. She sent a message. She said, I'm in. But I said, we will do something uncensored. I said, we will have a conversation. She said, oh, what do you mean? She said, of course, we will do it. Now we are discussing and deciding on the place. After finishing Şeyma's book, I naturally started a new book, Ari Beno Gerede's I Am Benu. The book is interesting, of course. With his right hand over my pants. It starts like this. We are driving on the highway. There's less than an hour left to reach Alasate. Coldplay's song Fly On is playing on the radio. I'm skipping a bit. With his right hand, I'm still in the second paragraph of the book's beginning. He caresses the bulge visible over my pants with his right hand. He caresses the bulge visible over the pants. He reaches out, takes it in his left hand, and places it on top. I don't object, but I don't think it's a good idea at this speed. The pants... I started reading. Let's see how we'll discuss the book with Beno Gerede. Friends and dear Şeyma, I wish you all a good day from such a beautiful summer day. Please don't forget to like. Please comment a lot. Tell me about those events I don't know. What is the store incident? What is this income issue? I missed these while in America. Hopefully we'll get things together this summer. If you haven't subscribed, please do. As always, we're at patreon.com Cüneyt Özdemir address. If you're going to support the channel, you can do so from there as well. If you want to write to me, I'm at kuneytdeepnot.tv. Good day to you all. I wish you days full of joy and health. Stay safe and healthy.